a lot of people think that YouTube is too oversaturated to grow. They're like, it's really hard for a new creator to come onto the platform and to grow and to actually be seen, right? And I think it's such a terrible mindset for young kids to have now, to think it's impossible for them to come onto YouTube and be successful. Like, what's the reason that you can kind of contribute your success to? But because you were somewhat of an unknown creator coming into this ecosystem that most people say is oversaturated, what's the thing that you think stood out that people have just gravitated to you towards?
Yeah, it's a great question. I hate that. And I hate that when people say that. I think it's just so untrue. I think it's such an underdeveloped market still to this day. And I would love to get like your opinion, like both of you guys, and your thoughts on that. But I don't know. I think the idea, if you're going to start YouTube, you definitely have to do it different. But you have to start somewhere. And for a year leading up to like where I really started going hard in 2020, I was making all kinds of different videos and sort of trying this and trying that and trying this and trying it. But at the end of the day, I wanted to do YouTube. So I was trying a million different things until something worked. And then when something worked, I'll try two of those. And whichever of those two worked, we make two more of those. And you just kind of slowly but surely, I call it like the upside down funnel. And you sort of bounce off these walls until eventually you end up like at point B. But it's not this like straight and narrow path. You just like through trial and error end up figuring out sort of like a niche. Yeah, and then you can develop from there. But basically, it's just, in my mind, it was a game of just not quitting. Like the first person to quit loses. So if I just keep making videos and trying things, then I don't think that I can really lose. You know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about that though? Like I think that this space, like YouTube, is so underdeveloped.
I'll let Reed go first.
Yeah, I actually had an interview today about this specific subject, so I'm glad we're talking about it. But I think I agree with you. YouTube is in cycles, and right now, like Jimmy's obviously dominating, and I don't know if a creator can catch up to him in terms of spending and ideas, and like he has a 50+ person team and he's doing incredible. But there is little niches of content that pop up every single year, and right now the things that I've been seeing are home renovation is something that wasn't popular 3 years ago. And there's channels that are blowing up on home renovation. ZHC is a good example of like an arts and crafts creativity genre that wasn't a thing or wasn't popular 3 years ago that is now like on trending every time he uploads. ASMR wasn't popular 3 to 4 years ago and is now something where I continuously see creators coming up. And so I think, you know, as kids like yourself who were watching YouTube growing up, they're going to have their own ideas of the type of content they're going to be creating. And it's not going to be what Mr. Beast did. It's not going to be what PewDiePie did. It's going to be like their version of YouTube. And so I think the platform will continue to evolve. And I would have never seen this home renovation, living in your van videos, getting millions of views on trending. I would have never seen those types of content genres pop up in my head. But everyone thinks differently. Everyone has their individual creativity. And so I think the platform is ever evolving. And even your style of content, which, like I said earlier, is kind of like a mixture of trend jacking, some vlogging, some shock and awe. I think like just if you're a young creator out there, you just need to be yourself. You need to figure out what makes you happy. Don't chase the money. You're not going to do YouTube to get rich. If you start doing YouTube, you do it because you love making videos. And that's one thing that's consistent with all the guys that I work with is like the love of video making, not the I'm doing this for money. So I know it's like a long answer of my thoughts on it, but yeah, I've thought about that multiple times.
I think that's right. I think it's being original and like having, just very original content and not trying, like even Leon Hart, who we had on the podcast before, like he was sticking to something that was super, I don't know, maybe niche 5 years ago when he was opening Pokemon cards. And then it's like, eventually it just became mainstream and like now his channel's having a real moment. And I think it's finding what you actually love to create content around and like, you're not going to get burnt out on and like, eventually people will notice. I think that's what I view.